All right, so let's talk real briefly about that Superman Trinity bonus there. That card, real quick. The team up, Batman, Wonder Woman.
So the the key thing to remember about this is not this team up does not exist in an ocean, right? Or no team up is an island, right? So if you look at the set as a whole, this really clues you in to the fact that there are greater synergies out there between the entire team up of Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, which is a shock to no one, right? So you really have to talk about, I think, the common Superman, the common Wonder Woman, and the common Batman, just sort of as a group, and begin to really realize what's going on here. So just going through the team up. If both listed friendly characters are on the map, this is being Batman and Wonder Woman. When Superman or the listed characters attack, modify damage by +1 for each three in their final roll. Now that doesn't seem like a lot, but because you obviously only have a 1 in 6 chance of a three dropping. But if every three that dropped you could catch and then use it at will, it would be different, right? If you could catch every three thrown for the whole game, and you can guarantee that you can get a three in your attack roll, at least a three. Your minimum results for your attacks is four. That isn't bad, right? So Wonder Woman does exactly that.
Okay,
Uh,
so we'll get to Wonder Woman in a bit, but we're functionally setting up is that if you're looking at that team up with Wonder Woman, you're also looking at that team up with Batman. It also
yes,
utilizes threes,
absolutely.
right?
Both Superman and Batman together give you, I think, what Batman's is. If both listed friendly characters are on the map, when Batman or the listed characters attack and their final attack roll includes a three, they modify their attack by +3. So now you're catching every three that's thrown in the game, and Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman's attacks are all at least sevens, guaranteed seven,
Hmm.
guaranteed seven, right?
Yeah.
That's
So
that's that's not bad synergy.
yeah, it puts you in a situation of hitting consistently, while I would argue making that decision if you want to push. Uh,
Mm.
and
Because none of them have willpower.
yeah, Batman doesn't have willpower, and I think yeah, Wonder Woman does. Wonder Woman does. Uh,
Yeah, she does.
yeah, like Wonder Woman, the common Wonder Woman that said I actually think is quite impressive, and I feel sort of bad from the Wonder Woman in what was it, Batman the animated series,
Fair.
because I
Mhm.
feel like we got more out of this Wonder Woman than the other one.
Oh, and this one, she has a unique trait, right? So whenever you talk about Princess of Themyscira, Wonder Woman takes a maximum of 1 damage from range attacks if she could draw a line of fire to her attacker. Meaning that if she's on the open battlefield, well, she wants to be, right? And she could see her opponent, then I get +1 defense. Or excuse me, I only take a maximum of 1 damage. That's really, really good. Especially right now, whenever we talk about things, we're seeing a completely evolved form of combat in clicks now,
Mm,
and a lot more damage output than what we've ever seen before, right? And she's the type of Wonder Woman that can sort of withstand that damage a little bit. She can do it.
yeah, So, like, all right, well, when we look at that, I think we need to sort of keep in mind, and I know it's going to be a little bit weird. We're going to bounce around just a tad. I'm not going to try to bounce around too much. But let's go over to Green Lantern. I feel Green Lantern, for his cost, for what he brings to Justice League, is pretty decent. Is that he has the all aboard move Green Lantern can carry regardless of wing symbol, modify speed by +1 for each character, for each carried character with the JLA team ability, move up to his speed value. Now, this is important for some of you, is that when we had that Green Lantern Prize Support Pack, we also had this ability with those Green Lanterns as well, where they were able to pick up friendly flyers, I think, if they share a keyword with them. So, right. Yeah, I think when you start comparing like the firepower of this John Stewart versus the other John Stewart from the prize support John Stewart hits a lot harder. But when you start looking up at the team ups, I think that this John Stewart has a lot of utility. Definitely, I think in our personal practices, you use the Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman team up. I think it was that one that gave the Kingdom Come team ability.
Absolutely, it is, right?
Yeah.
And so you start looking at that, giving all these characters another rollout. Um, if you start the math on some of these characters does get pretty silly.
If we're looking at the cost, the cost of, like, if you're going to play the main set Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman, you're talking about over a 300-point game if you're using those commons. But if you're using, let's just say, Prime Batman, it still works. Or even Chase Batman for Batman Animated Series, that works.
Or any of the Trouble Alerts too. The Trouble Alert Superman is not terrible, right?
Yeah.
Trouble Alert Wonder Woman definitely is not terrible.
It's not terrible. So, like, you have to start getting creative on
low point options,
right?
Which gives you a lot of that flexibility that you're looking for in your team building,
right?
And also, so talking about the mechanic, if the listed friendly character is on the map, whatever character is using the team up can use blank power, blank ability, right? If Green Lantern loses Superman, but he can just bring in Superman again with a Trouble Alert mechanic, that helps expand the longevity of the mechanic.
Right, because then you're able to utilize other characters that are good with that name, that may be able to stack on benefits that they weren't really thinking about when they were, creating that character. So there's a couple of cool things that I like with that in particular. But I think if you're looking at this Green Lantern from a pure utility perspective, having the TK, having the sort of multi-figure taxi bus thing going, and getting everyone in your Justice League, where you need to go, not really having to worry too much about your movement penalty. I think that's something for every player to think about. Like the Green Lantern that we got in Batman animated series was more of a mediocre, rangy type John Stewart. This one is more of get on the magical Green Lantern bus, John Stewart.
Right.
Yeah.
So team ups we're talking about here. Obviously, the Batman Wonder Woman team up, the double prob.
Oh yeah, double prob is always good.
So you push him to click 2, and he has double prob and perplex and TK for 65 points. How is that terrible?
It's not. I think the issue that comes in is how you're going to utilize that, and then him not getting murdered. Like that would be more of my point of concern, is making sure that you're able to leverage that. Because if you go on a click 2, now you functionally have double prob in perplex for, at first you think it's a low investment of 65 points, but it's also, you still have to meet the rest of the requirement. So you're actually maybe in some cases paying another 70, 80, or over 100 points for that bonus. But like if you have to look at how it synergizes overall and say, is it worth me to have this on my team so that I can get this effect? Because I would have to say, like, hey, I had a Batman and Wonder Woman on my team, and now Green Lantern functionally does 90% of the support. And I'm betting Batman has Outwit. So I'm going to double prob actually. Perplex, Outwit, and more than likely be on a theme team. So Batman can prob and Wonder Woman can prob. Mm. So, like, there are, like, I don't, my problem with this set is, and I'm going to start with it up front since we're on the second figure. As a commentator and an analyst, I can't tell you as the listener, this figure is definitively good. And this is why this figure is definitively good if it has a team up. All I can tell you is, from what I've seen, these team ups are okay, or I can see the utility of these figures if you build a team. Whereas when we look at most figures in like maybe a 1 or 2 combo, or even themed up with other known figures in that keyword, or dealing with other elements in the meta that might be dominant, with all of the team up cards, it's just like, did you make a team that utilized this weird combination of team ups with the right, sideline characters, with the right this, that, and the other, and the right equipment? Congratulations, you've made this figure really strong and hit above its weight class. Or you just are lost, or you made something weaker than you should have because you picked the wrong team up. So there's a lot when it goes through this. So when you hear Wes and I talk about a figure, we're talking about the surface level, and I can't get as deep as I want to get because the way WizKids has deployed out this mechanic and not giving us complete information, I can't just be like, you know what? All of these, this one is completely bad. All its team ups are bad because we don't have all the team ups for all the cards. I don't think there is a character with all the team ups in Realms. And the set's been out for a little bit, mind you, coronavirus, but oh well.
Well, and that's the thing. It hasn't been out for a bit, right? We have not hit release day. We got one bit of pre-release, and that's it.
Well, we've got a bunch of people unboxing bricks on Facebook and YouTube, so that's why I'm like, yeah, this is sort of bad. So let's keep going. I'm gonna skip the Flash because functionally, I think he's okay. He's mediocre. He's mediocre. If you want to outwit on your Justice League team, that's the only reason that I can see you running him. Now let's talk about Dr. Fate, because I actually think that this is the competitive common. Like, this is the one to be concerned about. So let's go into it. So duplicates of myself from throughout time and space. During force construction, you may only add Dr. Fate at 10 points if you also have a Dr. Fate starting at 65 points on your starting line. Be mindful that if you're playing this Dr. Fate ability, you're not doing team-ups. For all characters with this trait, if you have 2 to 4 characters named Dr. Fate on your force, action total by +1, 5 plus such characters, add +2 action total. So by investing additional 50 points, you're able to add +2 your action total and still get like leadership, which will add +3 to your action total. And at first, some people might say, well, Dark Logos, that's not that great. It's really awesome when you start looking at the fact that he flies, Dr. Fate flies, has TK, has energy shield deflection with a 17, which is reasonable, and has enhancement. And you start looking at the 10-point fates, and they all have his first click. All of them. So you're talking about having TK and enhancement. At worst, you're investing, 60 points for 2 TK? 75 points for 2 TKs?
For 3 TKs.
Oh, what you got? How many do you have to buy? Two. Sorry. So 85 points for 3 TKs and +1 to your action pool. I think just that in and of itself is worth it. So and enhancement, 3 enhancements. Like that is ridiculously good. Overall, as a mechanic, I think in house we've played several teams competitively. I think PJ's played a Dr. Fate team in the first Eagles cast tournament. I don't think he's playing it in the current one. Correct.
I don't believe so.
Yeah. So yeah, like it's good stuff. It's definitely good stuff. What's your thoughts on Dr. Fate?
My thoughts on Dr. Fate would be that if you look at him as he gets maximized at 115 points, right? If you look at him as a 115 point mechanic of having this network of just bodies, mystics, and also TK and random damage increases, right?
Mm.
He's he's map control because he's deployment, right? Because he could just deploy your force anywhere and buff it at the same time. It allows you to get key figures in position and do a lot of damage whenever they. He's sort of the ultimate support piece, right?
Right.
He'll give you theme team probs. He'll give you +1 damage. He'll give you TK. And if they try to start to hurt him, he has mystics. That's all I got for you.
Right. And so
Right.
there's a lot of problems that just start picking up. When you're facing a wave of it.
He's an order of magnitude in power, I think, especially for a common. If you look at him as to what he does, he's pretty awesome.
Right. Okay, so let's go ahead. We're going to skip Common Batman. In my opinion, it's.
I think we already mostly covered it.
He's only good for that one team up.
Right? Because
Yeah.
he has a 12 attack and perplex, which is nice. And his attack power is worth mentioning. Opposing characters within 6 squares in line of fire using impervious, shape change, or super senses decrease the rolls for their powers by 1. 6 is always a success, but making those rolls, cutting those opposing rolls in half, does make him a decent attacker. But more than that, I would just feed into what team ups discussion we already had.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about Am I Blue, Mr. Prime. This guy is definitely in the first Eagles Cast tournament. We saw massive adaptions for people trying to get ahead of him. So let's go ahead and talk about Prime Batman.
Still made it into the top 4 of the.
Who played it?
PJ.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it was PJ and Lucas. So Batman. Should we assume that they know the trick, or that they don't know the trick?
I would say, all things considered, we're going to have a perspective on whatever age it's good, whether it's pre-rotation or post-rotation. So I would definitely argue, look at the Batman because it's pretty much in depth. It's like something when gone, you can never regain for the rest of the game. Batman can't use stealth. Can't use Batman ally team ability. And whenever he occupies a clear square and is given a range action to use Incapacitate, Mind Control, or Penetrating Psychic Blast, he can use Improved Targeting, Ignores Hindering. This character can make ranged attacks while adjacent to opposing characters, may target adjacent or non-adjacent opposing characters, and may instead target all opposing characters within line of fire. And remember, people, line of fire is infinite. Actually thinking about this, would a Nightbringer ring get around this? Because it says you couldn't use Batman team ability.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so in pre-rotation, this is the global tank. This is, what's his name? The Skull 2.0. Because you're not only getting it cheaper, but better. You just mind control downfield and tank. like goodbye retail. So there is that.
So,
Go ahead.
so do we hmm, do we want to talk about that post rotation and what it looks like
Post
with everything that's
rotation,
been announced?
I think post rotation, Batman appears on Justice League teams. I think he's mandatory if you're running Justice League because he is the secondary attacker slash
Whatever.
control
Right.
that your team is going to need. And I'm not going to say you're GIMP playing Justice League because you're not. But when it starts coming into the level of like basket weaving you'll have to achieve, it has to be next level. But go ahead, Wes.
So again, talking about there being lots of damage out there, uh, Batman is one of the figures that can really generate more damage than anyone else, right? So do we? So Ed, we're assuming that they know about the trick then to say that he can blast their entire team for 6
Oh
or
yeah,
7.
I think they're going to errata that. They have to errata that because if they let that continue, that's going to be a problem.
So they've released the erratas for the set already.
Oh, okay, then yeah, then it's out there. Might as well talk about it.
Um, and it was not errated.
Okay,
They've released the erratas for the set already, and it's not done.
yeah, and the issue comes in is that he doesn't divide his damage. Is that it? The fact that he's able to just burst down a bunch of people.
Oh, absolutely. And that's what makes him unique. And I think again, PJ Bolin was one of the people that was really out there talking about this. Uh, that Batman, if you get him to click 4, and you perplex up his damage 3 times, the rulebook states that you only divide damage if you use the lightning bolts. But because he doesn't have to use lightning bolts because he hits everyone that he sees, it's literally map wide damage for however high you can get his damage value. That's the game. And it's penetrating for what it's worth. So what we're finding is that top dial invincible matters, right? Uh, uh, Durability matters because if you just can't take 4 to the face, what do you got?
Yeah,
You know?
and it could get worse too because when we start breaking it down, like going back to like we said with Doctor Fate, we have all those enhancements and all those actions
And all those
and
TKs,
all
right?
those
So
TKs. Yeah,
even if they do lose Matt, and even if you do need to reposition Batman to get a better target, Fates and Batman sort of as a I can turn this way essentially and blast this entire cone of people, right?
correct. Yeah,
And he gets TK'd over here next turn. And the last trick, the last coup de grace, if you will, of this 40-point map wide nuclear bomb is that he has colossal stamina. So he can do it every turn until he dies.
yeah,
And to put the icing on the cake, you brought in 6 fates who all have a chance to roll a 6 that would remove an action token from him anyways. Every turn.
right. And well, in having played against several teammates, I've seen like 7 Justice League Unlimiteds go off, and no one heals. I mean, no one takes tokens off. So
I mean, fair.
that has happened. I mean, you and I've played, and that's happened.
Yeah, yes, sir. But I still think though that because whenever we talk about the combination of those 2 figures, we're only at 145 points.
Right, which gives you some flexibility with Justice League Unlimited. But I mean, with Justice League, but I think there is some concerns in which I would make the argument you have some of your utility some of your control, you would still need to establish how you plan to resolve the game with some of your other muscles. But I think it's viable because there's enough maps in which you can that work well for Batman. And one thing that I've learned running Batman is Batman. You have maps for Batman, or you have maps for the rest of part of your team. It's really hard finding maps that are both good for Batman in the rest of your team, and that's the part where I feel like it takes the team building element to like weave in the other things that you need on your team. So, all right. So let's go ahead and move down. Cadmus scientist, lab scientist. Real quick, it just says power. Choose an adjacent friendly character. That character can use Battle Fury until your next turn. Sort of useful. If you really need that power. 15-point investment isn't that high. But I can see the need if by chance someone has shape change on 4 through 6, or God forbid 3 through 6 or something like that.
Absolutely.
Star Lab Scientist. This one is also a little bit silly for 15 points. You can free roll a d6. Number 1, get power, empowered. Number 2, enhancement. 3, support. 4, perplex. 5, outwit. 6, probability control. Friendly characters named Star Lab Scientist can use that power until for your next turn until a trait with the same name is activated again. So this is nice because let's just say you do roll the perplex, you get lucky. All your Star Labs text can perplex, and then later throughout the turn, you've done your perplex thing. All your perplexes are sort of spin up on the attack. You can roll again to see if you get like prob or outwit or anything else like that. So for 15 points, they are a lot more flexible than I think most people understand.
Yeah, if you start saying that you're going to run 2 or 3 of these figures, and I'm going to get 3 out of 6 of these support powers for 45 points every turn, 3 of them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm not mad about that at all.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna keep going down.
Sure.
The number 8 Lex Luthor is the Great Brain Robbery. He's actually okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the main reason I say that he's okay because he has leadership, and he fails leadership, he gains perplex. So he's still, but only the target friendly character. So he still is giving you that +1 action. And if he fails his leadership, you're like, all right, cool. Well, at least I got a perplex that I can use now. Other than that, he's not that useful.
Agreed.
Wonder Woman. I will say we've utilized Wonder Woman.
We've talked about her.
And we played her internally, so I think she's okay. I think my only problem with Wonder Woman is she should be like 80 points. For her cost, but yeah. Joker. All right, let's talk about it because this is the piece I feel that is teetering on the edge.
It's worth noting how much we're just now at number 10 in the set.
Yeah.
Right. How much meta have we discussed in the last 10 figures?
We've talked about a good amount. And again, I feel like all the figures that we brought up so far have utility, which is better than a lot of other sets that I've reviewed. And let's not go back to how I felt during ABPI, because
but
that was a rage.
This is one of your things, though, right? Like you wanted there to be more powerful commons.
Correct. And in all fairness, in this set, WizKids has provided value. You hear me, Kenny? Okay. Next time we meet up, you gotta give me credit on this one. Okay. WizKids has provided value and utility in the commons. I don't like how the cards are handled. That's a whole different sermon, that everybody's already heard me say.
Absolutely fair.
But if you're like, hey, here's my base common guy, cool. But it's like, hey, here's my base common guy with, again, this other game mechanic that's super duper rare. He might as well be super duper rare, you know. But and being fair, going back to the Joker, okay, the Joker, in my opinion, is a mandatory 70 points. It's a mandatory 70 points. During force construction, you may add two JLU number 10 Jokers to your starting force on click number 1 that appears on Orange KO. They have 0 point value for all effects, including scoring, but you don't have to reveal any of the Joker's point values until required. Okay, so that's important, number 1. Because they're going to have a marker that's going to indicate whether they're the real Joker or they're not. As long as you're not using the Joker to summon ID cards, you're fine. Okay. Then it says seems to be everywhere. Leap, climb, plasticity, sidestep. So you can already tell with the poison in the super senses that this piece is designed to be annoying. Okay, or pieces synergy. Okay, boom. That special power on defense on the additional, you can call them, what, dupes. Stop. When this click is first revealed, deal 1 penetrate damage to all adjacent characters, then KO the Joker. That's fine. So you're lobbing a grenade. There are some classical characters. Crap. What set was it from? Where we had like the ant bombs. I forgot his name.
Ant bombs.
You remember you would throw the ant bombs at the ant pods at people and they would die and they would deal like 1 damage. What was his name? It was like years ago.
Ant-Man with Age of Ultron?
No. Yeah, it was Ant-Man, but there was another guy. He made it so when a friendly character was KO, deal like 1 penetrating damage to each adjacent opposing character or something like that. I forgot his name. Anyway, he's Golden Age. Like I said, folks, I probably forgot more HeroClix knowledge than most people have ever known in their life.
But so he has some great keywords, right?
Yeah.
So if we look at it,
he's the Injustice League hero.
He's in Justice League.
Yeah.
His celebrity keyword is strong. It's not to be underestimated.
Definitely pre-rotation. Post-rotation, I think it drops off because you lose your giant girls. But the fact that he also has shape change, when the Joker uses it and succeeds, after resolution, he may generate within range and line of fire a JLU number 10, the Joker on click number 1 that appears, Orange KO. Yeah, all the other stuff. He functionally, to a degree, is a Sentinel Factory. He's a Sentinel Factory. All right.
So, in wrapping up Joker, I think that it takes the right team.
It does.
Because they only have 2 damage, right? So that means in and of themselves, they are not enough. They need something else. They need some empowers, some enhancements. They need damage buffs because 2 damage is not going to cut it.
Right. I think they primarily need the outwits because they're trying to poison down characters. And in that process of poisoning down characters, they want to sort of say, if you punch us, we die. And when we die, you're going to take more damage. And if you do punch us and miss, we're just going to multiply like a bad disease. And I think that's the part for me, having played God of Trickery Loki, I see what they learned from God of Trickery and lowered the point cost, gave the character less control-y roll powers, and gave them just like, hey, we're going to sit next to you, and then we're going to see what happens.
So we can get attack from various sources. So talking about like the map bonus for Haha Hacienda, if you lose map, all the Jokers get +1 attack outright.
Mm-hmm.
Makes them an 11. The controlled Batmobile, if you put Joker in the Batmobile and you have him carry one of these guys, that gives him a 12 attack.
Right, because of the Batman enemy. And so you're now looking at how could I utilize on theme or off of theme to get the damage up. I mean, we talked about Duke Thomas earlier
Hmm.
in private.
Uh, yeah, damage is the problem.
Damage is a problem. And then also, people, there's nothing stopping you from running another 50-point Joker
That's absolutely true.
and then doing this again. Because he doesn't have a click that says, like, all Jokers on the map disappear, like God of Trickery Loki.
And
So,
like Cable,
or like
has
Cable either, yeah. So, yeah, so that's pretty good. Like, again, this is another one of those, like, you did good, Whiz Kids.
it really is.
Yeah.
It really is.
Amanda Waller, she's okay. Having a little bit more successful leadership for just sitting there is not too. I'm not too hype on that. Let's talk about your boy Mazo. Let's get it done. Let's get it done.
We are still in the commons.
Let's get it done.
So I can we talk about this as a team? And
No. It has to be as a figure. I mean, and the main reason I don't want to necessarily present it as a team because the team element will always rotate. But when we look at the core mechanic of that character, I think there is something there. But unfortunately, in the modern mindset after Black Widow, I think he has struggles.
so I have resisted mentioning Black Widow because I didn't know if you were comfortable with
Oh
mentioning
no,
Black
that's
Widow.
fine.
But so that's one reason why I think it's kind of appropriate to talk about the team that I played at the last EagleCast event.
In brief,
Because Black Widow wasn't part of that event, right?
right?
So obviously his direct silver bullet did not yet exist. Now it does, which we'll get to that at a later time. But essentially, Amazo by himself can pick if you build your team correctly, he picks 5 powers to start with on turn one, and you can change 3 of them because from you want to maximize it. So pick the team up like Flash, for instance. That's the most common one to give him hypersonic and super senses. But you also pair him with characters that give him defensive powers and any support power that you might want. So, for example, Ultron. Ultron had stealth, invincible, and prob.
Ultron was. I feel Ultron was our progenitor of pairing with Mazo. But go ahead.
Yeah, he's the beginning.
Yeah,
Why? Because he's low point invincible.
yeah.
He's 50-point invincible.
Full dial
Um,
invincible on a Mazo.
which being a member of Team Phoenix Nest, you learn the value of invincible.
Full dial invincible. Yeah,
It has a value there. So, and so Amazo stepping into that role is amazing. See what I did there? It's fun, really
yeah.
amazing. But whenever I picked the Flash team up and then I copied powers from Ultron, I ended up with hypersonic, super senses, invincible, and prob, which is not terrible, right?
Right.
So that allowed him to be pretty aggressive and just going across the map and mollywhopping people 4 here and 5 there. Uh, Paired with a good durable secondary attacker like Magneto or Sinister, it worked. The team worked well.
Yeah. The issue when we go back into Amazo with its point values in the current format, I have to be honest. Like even before everything with Black Widow was released, I wasn't super pro 125. You had me at 100 points. I felt at 100 points he offered everything that he needed to offer, effectively to the player. Uh, and it's not showing the 100 point dial on here.
Yes, it is.
Okay, there it is. Sorry, I clicked the wrong one. I apologize. But yeah, I like the 100 point dial. And going back to like what I was saying before with Batman, is I don't think Batman and Amazo Ultron work together. But Amazo functionally gave you the opportunity to be flexible if you knew how to be flexible. And I've learned with his team ups, with sacrificing that sideboard for the team ups, is it worth it all the time? And my answer is no. And that's why, like, before the format, I felt like you could go without the team ups and still have a good team. Now with Black Widow, I can't recommend anything but the 75 or the 40. And realistically, it's more than likely going to be the 40. And I would tell you, do not run any of his team ups. Just utilize him as a flying 40-point taxi that's going to copy another utility effect. Preferably barrier. Because getting low point barrier is hard. And I feel like you're going to get a lot of utility out of him because he's in Dom, 40 points. And then if he could do barrier and something else, he's a winner. That's how I look at him. Or you can just utilize him and say like, oh, look at me, I have perplex, TK or whatever. And then when the game progresses, now I copy like running shot or charge or hypersonic speed from one of my allies. I think he benefits a ton from characters that generate pogs because now you're able to put decent stats from those pogs onto Amazo. So I know you're the Amazo fiend, Wes. I'll give you the last word on Amazo.
So no, on that point because it's more in depth than what I went with them just on the figure. There, if you choose to run low dial Amazo with team ups, there's also no reason not to run multiples. They're good. They're good attackers, and so you can really present a variety of things to do with your opponent. And it's also another interesting way to play all the Amazo figures you will have to gather in order to get all of the team ups for Amazo.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have 6 Amazos laying around.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you're gonna have a lot of Amazos laying around. But I still think there is something there with the 40-point Amazo.
Agreed.
And it's just the question of, hey, how can this work? I don't think it's Ultron right now. I think Ultron, it would have been nice before, but there's not enough synergy, in my opinion, to keep the two sort of working together. But all right, so let's move on down. We're gonna skip Jonah Hex. No one's playing him. Shazam, 45 points is a winner. I don't know so much at 95 points. I don't think he has any team ups either.
He does not. That we know of.
Yeah, that we know of. Because, buddy, this is a dude that needs one. Like, looking at his dial, this is not 95 points of figure right here. It's not. You're better off with the previous Shazam that we had. Is way better for around the same points, I thought.
Yeah, 45-point Shazam is where it's at.
Yeah, 45 points Shazam, Justice League Unlimited, get your nice little tank body that can go in there and mess people up. So yeah. Vixen, I don't think she's worth the points.
Nope.
Yeah. Cheetah, I think you're going to have to play her if you're going to run in Justice League. Because, because at her point value, she gives you damage output. Definitely for Justice League and Legion of Doom. And, well, everything that's not animal. On an animal team, definitely not. I would not play her off of theme. She doesn't have a place off of theme in the current format. There's Copperhead, and at that stage, you might as well be playing Joker. I just let's just be honest. You might as well be playing Joker. So, all right, we're going into uncommons now.
Yep.
All right, so we have Superman robot, uh, or no, Justice Lord, Superman. My
Who
bad.
is also Superman robot, right?
Uh,
Uh, so Justice Lord Superman himself, I don't think is uh, overly exciting, right? Except he gets his once per game make a range attack that deals penetrating damage. That's cool,
mhm.
right? It's a once per game effect. He's got a 4 range, so it's here. Let me charge, kill this thing and then shoot you, right?
Right,
That's not a terrible approach to things.
right. It's
Um,
straightforward.
it's very straightforward, but for 95 points, I don't know that he gives enough. I don't know that he gives enough.
I agree, and I think this is one of those problems where WizKids was like, "Hey, y'all, let's sort of make this, the dial shorter, and then we'll
Sure,
compact all these powers in, and
sure,
then give them modicum of okay stats."
sure.
And I just sort of come back and think like, "Oh no, it's just crap. It's just crap." Anyway,
But then on the other end of the spectrum, because
you cut out.
30 of this guy, but then on the other end of the spectrum, because we need to own 30 of this guy,
Right.
is the 10-point line, that 10-point robot generic. Um, that's pretty awesome.
Yes. And this is something that I feel is highly underrated. You have a 10-point sidestep uh, taxi with
Uh,
improved targeting,
uh-huh.
ignores hindering, and it also has Indom and close combat expert. I feel like this is something that can be really, really strong.
Yes.
And so I know the base figure is trash, but this is the moneymaker right here. This is the main show. I think this is probably one of the better uncommons that we're going to go over.
Um,
Yeah,
what do you think the cost of the Superman is on eBay?
let's just say $1.
Look it up. Let's look it up.
Man, it's still. I am not, and I'm going to say this right now because we're recording this 419 late at night. I will not trust current prices on anything. I feel they're inflated just due to the current situation and Diamond being Diamond. So yeah,
There's
that
the rare. I'm not seeing any of the uncommons here. Let me.
I think again most people are keeping their stuff. You're better off looking on Facebook for trades and sell
Okay,
threads.
this is about where I thought it would be. Uh, it's at 325.
Yeah, so that means once you start getting some more out there, it's going to be about $1. Or $2 at max. I don't see that being a $5 piece. I really don't. So let's move on to Sinestro real briefly. He is hot trash
Yeah.
in the current format. I hate to say it, but one thing to keep in mind is he's your only pulse wave for Injustice League. So yeah, like I think he
And I
met.
mean, he's a thematic Sinestro for WizKids. He has the trademark negative perplexed that all Sinestro core members, somehow seem to give us. But yeah, nothing. He has not enough durability for the points for him to matter.
Right. All right, so then we have the Flash, and this one is the one with the team ups. Overall, I have to say that he is okay in my book, and I do not believe that this is one of the best Flashes that we've had. I think this is an okay Flash. The fact that he does have Indom is great in my book. And he also ignores elevated and hindering, unlike I think the previous Flash, which I think just ignored hindering or something. I forgot. I know he was missing one of those two. But
So again, we don't have all of his team ups, but his Green Lantern team up is pretty remarkable.
oh yeah, the swapping squares. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah. So that is pretty good. So overall, like I think this Flash is okay. Even with this, I can go to the other part of the edge of the map trick. I I still don't think it's worth normal play. Red Tornado is an okay pass. Uh, I mean, the twice at no cost is okay, but like let's look at what we're comparing. 75 points of this figure versus what's his name, Astronomer doing the same thing. Like I'd rather have Astronomer for around the same point value. For Justice League, again, we have Doctor Fate that comes in at a lower point value and gives us more utility. So yeah, like that's just better. Uh, let's keep going down. We have another Batman. We have another
Justice Lord Batman,
Yeah.
who is disappointing.
Yeah. Running shot, sidestep, in cap. He's okay. It's nothing to write home about. I think it's something that's decent and sealed, but nothing more than that.
So
Yeah.
here's my question with him.
Mm-hmm.
What about him makes him so good that he has that negative cost of adjacent opposing characters can use mind control, but only to target Batman? What about him makes him worth that cost?
I don't really. I really don't see it.
I know of no way to leverage that mechanic.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
It's literally a reverse gene. It's literally what it is,
Right.
and it's stupid.
I think it's a penalty, but I don't see how they translated that penalty to be beneficial for you. Like, there's other characters in, was it Kazar? Which one of those dudes from Secret Wars? Like, your opponent could just, like, move him around backward and stuff. Like,
Oh yeah,
his stats were good for his
yeah,
cost.
It wasn't that bad.
Yeah, but your point,
But
your
it wasn't
opponent,
worth that cost.
yeah, it
Right?
wasn't worth your opponent moving your figure in a game that really relies on your figures being in the right place. You know, but when I look at this Batman, I'm like, I would barely pay 65 points for that, let alone have that penalty, unless you're playing Golden Age and you're also playing Nighthawk Prime, so that no one can be mind control. But even still, it's not worth it from the price perspective. So
There's no way. It's I
yeah,
almost feel like the rest of that paragraph got deleted.
yeah,
Right? Like I almost feel like there was supposed to be more there and it's a copy error.
all right. So let's go to Dr. Emil Hamilton, and we can call him Josiah X on a budget. So for half the points of Josiah X, you get the Dr. Emil Hamilton invented the anti-kryptonite suit. When a friendly character within 4 squares would be dealt penetrating damage, roll a d6 on 4 through 6. The damage can be reduced instead. And I have wild card. Congratulations. So I'm hanging out with Batman.
Exciting.
Yeah. So, like I said, Josiah X on a budget. Dr. Tracy Simmons. Again, I think this is one of those good and sealed, good for scientist teams, and that's about it.
Moving along.
Yeah.
20-point perplex is never anything just to pass.
That, and you take away your opponent's flight, which I think can be useful, but unfortunately, without certain tactics in mind, in my opinion, I think the mechanic falls short.
Right.
So.
Well, but I mean, how much more does Billy do than her for 20 points?
Billy has a better keyword, and Billy has a stop click.
That's fair.
I mean, let's be honest. Let's keep going now. All right, now here we go to Real Boy Lex Luthor, and this is, in my opinion, not a real Lex Luthor.
Why not?
Well, for one, Lex Luthor helping anyone out is not Lex Luthor. He should never have enhancement. Like
That's that. I mean, that's not fair.
that's the honest truth. Come on, outwit, perplex. He should have that in spades. Enhancement, empower, never. But that's me being a little bit semi-purist on the character. In Justice League team ability, which is okay. Superman enemy to gain that outwit is okay. The problem comes back is who else is he utilizing Superman enemy with? And Superman enemy and in Justice League team abilities have been notoriously known for being super expensive. And I think we sort of see that mildly in the stats for Lex. And he's super power rich for his meager 5 clicks.
Go
ahead.
I think the last time the Superman enemy team TA got real love was General Lane, right?
General Lang, yeah.
He handed it out like candy.
If you had the keyword, or I forgot, or if you were adjacent.
You were adjacent and shared a keyword with him.
Yeah. Okay, so there are a couple of team ups, and I normally wouldn't really go into this too hard, but there are a couple of team ups that I do think are really good. Number one is Star Sapphire with him getting Barrier for free, but getting 2 markers instead. That's ridiculous. Ultrahuman Knight, giving him Mind Control, considering he has Running Shot and also Sidestep. So, and Solomon Grundy giving my boy Invulnerability. Even though Solomon Grundy is not that great, in my opinion.
He wants pants too.
He does want pants too. But yeah.
And Shade isn't terrible either. Because when we get to Shade, you'll see how that team up synergizes really, really well with him.
Yeah.
But the Shade team up is nice.
Yeah, but the fact, I mean, like, going to Cheetah, like, all right, he has senses, which isn't bad. Like I said, like, overall, like, Lex is okay. Lex makes you almost want to run Sinestro. And I feel like Sinestro should have had team-ups because then Sinestro would have been worth it, in my opinion. But that's just me. In Justice League, at the beginning of your turn, roll d6, give an action token to an opposing character that's 100 points or less. So, yay. Now, for some people, you might be saying, is this good? And I'm going to tell you, boyos, it's good. My only problem is you're not able to spam that stuff. Okay, if we go temporarily back to the Joker, he does not have that in Justice League trait.
He does not.
If he did, in Justice League could go toe-to-toe in the meta. But because he doesn't, in Justice League is going to be second tier. Because
what if you could pay 5 points and make the Joker really, really good within Justice League?
I would do it all day.
You would do it all day.
I would do it all day.
There's one thing that we didn't talk about with Joker that's worthwhile. The starter set has a map bonus.
Well, if it's in the map bonus, we'll talk about it later.
Okay,
we'll talk about it later. All right, so let's keep on going. overall, like Lex is okay because he has his custom made ray gun, free choose one, psychic blast, precision strike, range combat expert, improved targeting, hindering. Lex Luthor can use a chosen power to his next turn. Like he has the stuff. He is okay. Is he the hero or villain that we need? No, but he is actually solid. So WizKid should get a one hand, not a one hand clap. You get a mild clap from me, and that's all I gotta say on it. What do you guys say about him?
He's sort of a Swiss Army knife, and if you approach him with that in mindset and team building, you should be fine. Again, I would heed Ed's feedback and say, don't worry about the Injustice League or the Superman and META. I don't see enough synergy with that right now, but I think it's possible to build with him.
Yep. All right. Next up on the list is Green Arrow. Green Arrow has team ups out the wazoo, and so I actually am starting to believe that someone is just copying and pasting some of the team ups, but
nope, those are them.
Oh, okay.
Those are
I
them.
don't know if someone's verified that that's actually correct.
Yes, that is correct. I can verify that.
Okay. So, anyway, this team thing is new to me. Green Arrow modifies damage by +1 when making ranged attacks. He modifies range by +2 if he is not within 4 squares of another friendly character. And that's pretty nice. Green Arrow can use his displayed attack power as free. Does not affect Precision Strike. So, the fact that he can Precision Strike or Smoke Cloud or Incap or EE or Psyblast for free is not bad. At 40 points, I think he's good. He allows you to get that double tap in. Unfortunately, this is a figure I would say running in multiples would be mandatory to try to get something out of him. Definitely combined with our lovely Dr. Fate combo. All of a sudden our boy is, hitting above his league. Ha ha, see what I did there. Yeah.
One could say his league is unlimited.
Yeah, let's see how many times we can run that into the ground and turn it into like a pole. Go ahead.
But for what it's worth, running him with Fates is definitely a possibility. I do love his last team up, his Black Canary Question Huntress team up. The synergy there is great, and I think it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. And just to note, a majority of like 9 through 11, the majority of those team ups are good. Or was it 10 and 11? Those are usually good for a majority of the characters. And unfortunately, in my opinion, never mind, we're not going back over that dead horse I've turned into glue and painted and used in a 5th grade project,
Wow.
So...
You went deep on that, Ed.
Oh, yeah. I'm not going to make the unlimited joke again. All right. I'm going to save it for later when it's worth it. Next up is Static. And they did my boy sort of dirty because he's not that good. He's really not that good.
Bless him.
They tried. So he has the unlimited thing. He has enhancement, which I really wish that they sort of looked at the set and said, Fate just does this better, right? Do we really need to give everybody enhancement? And the answer is no, we didn't. And it's like, why couldn't we just give him Perplex or Incapacitate as free? Like, I would have taken that, and I would have thought that would have been fine. But yeah, his superconductivity is amusing. But it should have, in my opinion, it should have lowered his cost. He shouldn't be 50 points for clicks. What do you think?
I agree. I think he's more like the 45-40 figure, right?
Yeah.
And he would be fine.
All right.
Supergirl.
I'll let you get the first crack on Supergirl.
Supergirl is interesting because when is the last time in the Legion of Superheroes TA?
Last time I think we saw Legion of Superheroes was in Superman and the Legion of Superheroes.
It was Superman Wonder Woman. Superman Wonder Woman 031 Superboy had
Oh
Legion of
wow,
Superheroes.
like someone remembered that figure.
No, it was totally Realms, right?
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. Like no one even came close to playing that
Right,
figure.
right. Then the excess from the Flash had it. Then
Hold on, wait,
Ron's
wait, wait. Was it the
were like,
Superboy that also had the Superman team ability?
and the Titans, yeah, Top Down Invincible, 100 points.
He also, oh gosh, hold up, give me a second, because now you got me intrigued. Because I clicked Super Legion
Just
of
click
Superhero.
the Legion. Just click Legion of the Superhero TA,
Oh,
and it'll
okay.
filter for
Superboy. Oh, that trash figure. Okay, never mind. Okay,
that.
I remember that. Because I'm like, man, I remember
Nailed him to the
Superboy.
wall.
I remember Superboy. He was awesome. The cape was flowing. I murdered teams with that figure. And I'm like, that can't be the Superboy. And I was like, oh no.
You would have known.
Oh yeah, I would have remembered. Definitely
um,
considering I played so much of Composite Superman.
but yeah, this figure's trash. But
Yeah.
that's the last time that we have seen the Legion of Superheroes TA.
Yeah. So let's talk about Supergirl. Giving her access to Wild Card in Justice League. And she has unlimited, and she has access to Flurry, hypersonic speed,
But not together.
but not together, because she's not that Black Adam. Uh, so what do you think about this piece? I'll let you get first crack in on her.
she she really doesn't pull her weight.
Oh,
I don't think she does enough.
really?
No,
I'm surprised you said that. Okay.
I don't think she does enough.
Okay.
So, 100-point weight class, right?
Mm-hmm.
What does she give you that any of the Supermen in this set, besides the common one, gives you?
She has hypersonic speed, in my opinion. She has hypersonic speed in Dom, which is key. And I think the fact that she is wild card in a constructed setting will allow you to utilize more tricks. And that's, I think, that is the key thing. Is the fact that she's wild card, you can do more if you plan. Now, the part that I'm more sad about is this. She with having no range, she should have had charge flurry instead of the hypersonic speed. She should have just had charge flurry.
If
And
that was hypersonic speed flurry, I'd be all in.
I agree. If I could flurry with hypersonic speed with those values, I don't care if she doesn't have range. I'm sending her downfield like a cruise missile.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and just hear me out when I say this. She's 7 clicks, and she has some level of mobility in entire dial. WizKids set her up so that she is functionally useful 2/3 of the time. Okay. And so I feel like there is something there. I feel like getting her with some equips would also be nice.
Like what? What would you give her? Nightbringer?
Symbiote. Like, I know that sounds like, no, Symbiote's retired. Yeah, Nightbringer, Remaker. Uh, what else? Power Gem, because Power Gem would give you what, a base range of 4.
Yep.
Yeah, and so then now having access to RCE at like consistently, I think would be useful. Another one also would be what was it? We what was it? We were talking about Proxima Spear.
Oh yeah, but
Yeah,
I mean, Proxima Spear really wouldn't work with this though, right?
not with the hypersonic speed,
Mm-mm.
but just like her pinning somebody down and being like, "There you go,
Shit, boy.
there you go."
Yeah, she could do that, but then talking about her defensively.
Corvus Glaive,
Unless you
she get
unless you de-
blades.
unless you equip her defensively, then she just pretty much gets sank, right?
Fair enough.
And she's an outwit away. She's a pinsai away, right? And I understand that she's 7 damage, but if I have to devote 2 attacks to scoring a third of your build, I feel like I'm all right.
All right, that's cool. All right, so Aquaman, more team ups. I think you get close to getting something worth your volume on Aquaman.
Um, 60 points. He has access to all the team ups. That's nice. Only problem is the Aquaman team up itself is sort of bleh, right? But he is 7 clicks. Again, no reducer and no stealth, so he's not he has a lot to kill for 65 points. For 60 points, excuse me. I'll say that. He's a lot to kill for 60 points.
Yeah. All right. So let's go ahead and move on to Black Canary. Black Canary is okay because you got Psychic Blast when Black Canary uses it. In hits after resolution, knock back all opposing characters adjacent to the target. Adjacent to the hit target's 2 squares. So you can sort of play like some ping pong games with that, which I think is good because being able to break up formations is essential. If it was, go ahead.
Super important tactic, right? Like it's a super important way to disrupt your opponent's plans, right?
Right. My problem is with Black Canary, and I know she's 45 points. I just wish it was for any attack. I wish she just had Psy Blast, period. Psychic Blast, period. Oh, she does. Oh, instead of when she uses it. I just like when she attacks. Because now, and I wish she had it on her charge clicks. Because now she becomes a force for Justice League. Because, even with some of our current, things that we've talked about, go hit a Chase Widow out of stealth. Because there's no combat reflexes. If it had no combat reflexes. No, I think it actually does. Never mind. But you're able to knock characters out of stealth and be like, hey, now go kill them. So I think she would have had a place there, but I don't think that they designed that through. All right, let's talk about our boy, the Question.
Point of reference before we get there. Play her with Superman and give her Superman TA.
Get Super
She
Friend.
becomes really good. Well, no, Superman TA.
Does she get Superman TA when she is teamed up with Superman? Yeah, she does.
Improved targeting and hindering.
Okay, then there you go.
Right?
Yeah.
She doesn't get improved. She doesn't get the TA. I was wrong about that, but she gets improved targeting hindering, which for her is enough. Right?
Yeah.
That's enough.
All right, so Question. This is
the Question.
We need to put in some time and marinate on him because, again, I think this is a character that Justice League needs to be competitive and really starts messing with people. All right, so Question Authority. Power. If there is no D6 on this card, roll a D6 and place it on this card. Whenever
there it is.
Yeah.
We've read that sentence before.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing this on a guy with one letter as his name.
There it is.
Whenever a character within 6 squares in line of fire makes an attack roll, you may remove a D6 from this card and replace a die in the roll with it. 40-point Q. All right.
There it is.
So and this is the key point. He die replace plus stealth plus outwit plus as one preacher said, is, good meat makes its own gravy. The dude makes his own smoke cloud. He makes his own smoke cloud. So he's always stealth. So I am outwit self smoke cloud plus Justice League Unlimited, and push comes to shove, I'm able to outwit for 40 points. And I heard people say this guy is trash in the previews and he's not that good and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, in the context of Justice League, that like universally uplifted them.
Well, and also just again, if you talk about in combination with Black Widow, if he's adjacent to the Shifty Focus Widow, right? You can't use improved targeting against him. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Right? So there's tons of things that you can do with this figure. And if you're like, I could never afford Trelane, I could never afford Q, either of the Qs, you have
an uncommon, sir.
You have an uncommon. Like, and if you can't afford that, you shouldn't be playing this game. Like, I'm just being honest. All right, so Crimson Avenger, this is my boy. I like him. I didn't utilize him the best.
Perplex, which is a little bit high. But the smoke cloud, not terrible.
Free smoke cloud. 4 squares of smoke cloud. For your stealth teams, dude, I think it's worth it. Poison, Perpetual Smoke Cloud, and Justice League Unlimited. So
when Crimson Avenger uses a smoke cloud after resolutions, character choose an opposing character occupying or adjacent to one of the smoke cloud markers and give it an action token. It's a free action token down.
Right. Which, if I knew that or paid attention to it during Eagles Cast tournament, I still would have lost, but I would have done better.
Actually, again, you're talking about a figure that would really well with the new Widows, right? Because I can say, okay, now you're tokened. You're sitting there.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do all sorts of nasty things to you. Moving along.
Yeah, then moving along. Captain Atom, he sucks to suck. I'm sorry. He sucks to suck. He just keep rolling. I've seen good Captain Atoms in my day, and that's not one. I'm sorry.
Sorry about your life.
Sorry about your life, homie. Sorry about your life.
Huntress, I think, 40 points. Switch click with a team up. I think you only see this Huntress getting play in team up. I don't. Maybe you see it on like a Justice League team, but I don't think so. I don't think she does enough. I could be wrong though. Ed, what do you think?
I agree in general. I think you're only playing it on the team up for their full hurrah. And even still, after playing her on the team up, I'm sorry, running shot with 11 attack, 1 damage RC is a joke.
It's an absolute joke.
You should have never ever done that. And it's almost one of those things like, but look, she has options. It's like, look, other characters that you've done this with, very few of them get used. And
there are other characters.
You cut out, right? Unfortunately.
There are other characters out there who does what she does better.
Right. And this is, just note, WizKids, and I know you all have to have somewhere in the formula, if a character is able to switch between dials with the wild dials or whatever, that cost X amount or whatever, when you do that, please ask yourself the following. Would I, in normal team building, reach out of all of my plethora of options and play that character? If you look at it like Devil Dinosaur and Moon Girl, it's an obvious no. Why? Because the powers and the stats suck. Then you go look at Stealth Sentinel. Yes, he is a Prime, audience. I do know he is a Prime. Look at Stealth Sentinel and what he can do. He's always useful. With or without IDs. Spider-Man. Okay? from the last set. Okay, from Captain America and the Avengers. Always useful. This, no. Now, if you had a healing mechanic in this, there you go.
Note Spider-Man and Stealth Sentinel do.
But don't be like, hey man, don't try to sell me pig poop and then tell me that it's sausage, okay? It's not. It's not. Okay? Alright, so Shining Knight. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna be a little bit off-putting on this.
Okay.
This dude is the truth. This dude is the truth. Okay.
Why is that?
All right. So first off, like, look at his keywords. Like, he has the list of keywords: Justice League, Mystical, Past, Seven Soldiers, Warrior. Okay. He's 50 points, so he's low. He has a low introductory cost. His special power up front gives him charge and flight. Mm-hmm. He just flat gets it, right? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Then you're like, all right, so that means I'm going to, tally ho up there and do all my good jazz. Okay, then it says, now no, he can't carry. He doesn't get passenger. I want
flight. Yeah, yes, he does.
I thought the flight, he gets flight and passenger are separate. I don't know if this is the flight symbol. Now, this is the thing is we don't have the card.
The keyword flight now grants the flight symbol.
Okay, so I was just making sure because before it didn't do that.
I could be wrong about that. Continue on and I'll check.
All right, so I would gladly offer my life to protect those that can't protect themselves. Defend. Toughness. When an adjacent friendly character is missed by an opposing attack after resolution, heal Shining Knight 1 click. This dude is flight, charge, blades, defend, indom, 3 damage for 50 points. This dude is the truth with Justice League team ability. And if this dude can carry because of flight, he's even better because you're giving an 18 defend. You're getting an 18 defend.
The key phrase flight grants passenger 1.
Yeah, this dude's the truth. So I know he's going to get slept on because he's not fancy and he doesn't start with an 11 attack and all this other BS. I understand. But for as much as we've complained about this set, it's like, oh, he doesn't have Indom, so he's not good. This dude is 10 attack with the Indom and a defend, and he has toughness, so he won't just get pumped down by poison. So, yeah, this dude is legit. But I don't think anybody's going to recognize that.
I agree. I don't think he does enough to cross that line.
And then again, that's fine. All right, so we have finished the uncommons.
And let's hit rares with a bang.
Yeah, so we're going to end the show right here temporarily. This is into part 1. If you remember my ABPI and how that took like 4 hours of show, it's probably going to be like 4 hours of show. Is that going to make up for like the last 2 weeks of me not putting up content? Yeah, okay. Just say that I was prepping this the entire time and you deserve it. Okay. All right. So again, that's it for today's show. You can email me at startingoverpodcast@gmail.com and I'll see you in the next episode.